Welcome to Nevermind the Furthermore. Wait a minute, this music isn't right, the scene isn't right. Hang on. That's more like it. And now it's time for the show for all creatives. Nevermind the Furthermore. Your source for conversation, inspiration, and fun. With your host, Nicholas Anthony Tockert. He's an artist, a writer, a swordsman, and a game designer. He knows how to use the sword and axe in historical battles without anybody getting hurt too much. He's also the Manatee Man, master of marketing. And he may even have a guest or two. One thing, though, to be certain. Just don't call him a cryptid. With that, it's about time for the show. So sit back, enjoy, and have some coffee and chat with us.
Good morning, Nevermorians! Hi, I'm your host with the most, Mr. Nicholas Anthony Tockert. Sorry if things are a little awkward around here, more so than usual. We're having a bit of a cold snap here in the Arctic centers of Indiana, and the wind was hard enough it literally blew the ceiling goop. I'd put like silicon around my very old window in my study, and it literally just blew it out a couple moments before the show. So I had to ask for some tape to temporarily make a windbreak. I'm trying to warm my hands over a wax warmer because it got really cool in here really quite quickly. So I've made a couple changes that should help. But it did fumble my start. How's everyone's Friday going? You know, before I get talking to you guys, I have to pay my bills. And paying my bills today involves the simple sword, the fighting axe, the simple spear, and of course, this is the Big Sound People Robots Core Rulebook. Whew. The rest of my house is actually quite toasty. It's just my study is not in any way, shape, or form. So I will endure. We will endure. The show does not stop for anything. You guys know that. Alrighty. My accountability. My accountability is varied between Wednesday and today because it was the Thursday that I do RPG night for the kids. So I had to modify and run my ongoing take on Dusk Falls over Ravencleft Gorge, because the didn't expect 13 people to be in attendance. 11 gamers, one parent, and one hanger-on. So it made for quite a evening. They battled a bone dragon golem thing and a skeletal king. Had a wonderful time. They didn't really get the plot of what was going on. And I will get to that. Actually, I'm going to hop right into this. How's the little... Honestly, he's considering going the path of light. I'm sorry. He's now thinking about becoming a he's thinking about becoming a paladin type on the presence of he's concerned that if he gets turned by too weak a vampire, he'll spend eternity weak. So don't worry. Now that he said that, Lord Cage will definitely appear much earlier in campaign to torment him. But let's get through the comments more in order, and we'll talk. We'll talk about more accountability stuff, because boy, have we been busy. And we will talk other good things that are coming down the pipe. Like I said, I'm a little scrambled this morning, which is okay. I thought I had all the time in the world because I did, and then I heard a popping and a buzzing sound, and you guys could not have streamed with that thing going and vibrating the glass. So let's see. Donna Carlene, beat Joe B first through the door. And Carl says, and hi, Don. I hope you're having a good morning. You beat everyone here, huh? Ha! Not long now. Yep, in 12 minutes, Lord Nicola, Slard of the Fey realms of the Scottish forest, should be here. Careful with throwing names and titles around like that there, Carl. You're going to invite folks knocking at my door. Oh God, I'm gonna get me in trouble with the Fae, Carl. The man, the urban legend, the myth. Now that I will buy. I have been a very small possibly suburban legend at points in my life, and probably will be again. Accountability did some actual writing yesterday, believe it or not. Congratulations, Carl. That's what we want to see. We really need accountability. The wax hasn't even melted yet. I was wondering why you're being so verbose this morning. Oh my. Donna Carly gets bonus points for excellent vocabulary early in the morning. We like excellent vocabulary. It keeps things loose and rolling. LOL. Here we go. Shouts in the hallway. Get your behinds in here. I feel for you, Nick. We had to cancel my Trek Club's Thanksgiving this weekend because downstairs is just a little too cold this year. I understand. We got allegedly to 6, which means we had sub-zero temperatures overnight. Which this is a little early for that kind of shenanigan. And I answered Johnny freaking Cage, who I love. Great seeing you, Johnny. Yeah, and I'm glad we know each other on a few other venues, because I need to make sure we're connected in case Twitter goes punk. By the way, you know what this is? This right here? Do you know what this is? Well, it's a dead one of these. Anyway, hi! Been up since yesterday sometimes. I think the dark misses summoned me. About bedtime for me. Flu bug, not C19. Now, Sarah, you take all your fluids, you get rest and get feeling better so you can continue to inspire the new Wednesday program on Netflix and have a wonderful morning. Best spent tucked away in your comfy little casket, all, pillow lined with your little fanged teddy bear. And you just have a nice, sleepful day, dear. Hey, Johnny, Sarah. Hey, Johnny and Sarah. For watching, 3 likes. Cracks the whip. Yep, oh God, it's nice having you around, Sarah. Poor Sarah. Betrayed again. Hello. What is it? Any fears of the Fey folk are all actually coming from Helheim? It'll be fine. Dear Johnny. Yeah, as a phrase from Egg Shen, one of the wisest philosophers of our time. China is with us wherever we go. I do not meddle in the affairs of Fae nor dragons, for I am crunchy and taste good with ketchup. No, it is best to leave the fair folk to do as they do where they do it. Uh, Hence the retired at the beginning of that little part of my intro. Retired. Cranky. What was supposed to be? Well, okay, let's try this again. Cranky was supposed to be in Indianapolis with my boyfriend all week. Hasn't happened yet. Protection for his household, even though it sucks. So yeah, Cranky. I am sorry. Get feeling better so that he can feel better, if you know what I mean. I'm not getting the right fluids, right, Donna? You know what? What's up? Torture, and not in a good way. See, you have my deepest condolences, because everybody needs to get your vitamin C so you can get your vitamin D, so to speak. Now, since it looks like I have caught up with the comments, I'm waiting for my little wax warmer to melt, because I did not realize it was quite so cold in here. Let's run a commercial and see if I can't do some stuff about what's going on in here. Because it's brisk. What would heat us up? I need one that'll heat us up. You know what? Let's just do the Frog G trailer, just because it's fun and it should be.
We've all read the story. The brave hero conquers the diabolical villain and rescues the damsel in distress. But this is real life, and in real life, stories don't always have happy endings. Frog G, the story of a man turned into a frog by a voodoo priestess sent on a mission to kill a god by death itself. Now our hero must roam the underworld to regain his humanity and win back the woman he loves.
Oh, still haven't. Wow, still haven't quite. Still haven't quite gotten the plan I was working on in action, but we'll work on it. Let's keep going. Okay. Boink. Cranky. Right way. Note to self. He won't help you if you invite the lady in the woods to get it. The lady in the woods and I actually quite made a very nice bit of peace the last time I was there. Because of a gentleman I tried to save who did some very, very bad things in the woods. The woods were rather angry with me for a time. And it was very, very unpleasant. But I did my best to rectify the situation. And things are all copacetic now. Many people have hugged trees. Very few have been hugged by trees. And I do have a good list for you tonight. What he's referring to is part of tonight's discussion on the Historical Fencing Guild will be that of we got a discussion of character classes that remind people of people. And I invited, because again, people wanted to do a this character reminds me of Nick. So I said, fine, I'll open up a folder, throw in Nick-based characters while we endure what we're enduring. And then I know I am late on Patreon with my with this week's post. Something will come out. I did not expect this, but we're starting to get there. Why is the thought of a heating element in Nick's studio worrying me? Well, if it helps, the heating element is an old style light bulb. So here, this is what I'm using to warm up right now, while I deal with the heat issue, both heater and heat issue, and this will be top on my things to do when I'm not dealing with some medical requirements today. Not mine. Checkup stuff for Mandy. Nothing to worry about. But it just takes it a while to warm up. It's basically just an your incandescent light, which ironically were basically heat lamps that had the side effect of putting off light, not the other way around usually. And if I have to, I do have an infrared light cannon over there that I can fire up. Did someone summon you? Always, Frog G. I needed to promote your stuff because you're dealing with the shenanigans with Indiegogo, which not only is, as of what I've just recently heard, not only is Indiegogo not only are they shadow banning Frog G for his project, they are not going to on demand with it, which I find shocking, as I haven't seen anything, unless I missed something really worrying inside that project, or you use like some language that I don't expect. I can't divine why they would do that. Sarah says, going to put you on the pillow next to me might doze off. Well, then dream of lacy things and warm summer nights, bats going across a moonlit sky. The rumbles in the forest is something that devours the innocent, goes its way, and comes back to you to fill your evening better. Anyhow, we've comment dump. And you're always more than welcome to doze off. I have that effect on women. Hey, Frog. Frog is greeting Sarah and Johnny Freaking Cage and Carl Witzman and Donna. And we've got greetings. And we've got greetings. And we've got Glenn. Nick! Glenn! It's so good to hear from you. It really isn't a morning without Glenn coming by, which I believe it's quite as the evening. I hope you're keeping piping warm in the United Kingdom. We've got a rather unpleasant cold snap biting our way through just a bit earlier than it should. For all things Nick, Tockert.com. That's right. Now, right now, I'm having a little trouble getting into my email and some other stuff. I will rectify that once I find my big notebook of login information. But folks, very soon I will be compiling and requesting contact information from a lot of my more diverse spread people, because with Twitter going the way of it might be good to back up some of the connections between you. I don't want to have an incident like I had when they took down the Yahoo groups, and they took down AIM Instant Messenger, AOL. I watched both of those fall and lost many friends in the issues. So we have Hi Glenn, Historical Fencing Guild. Yes, I will be there tonight at 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Can't wait to see you there. I should be a bit more on the ball because the house should be warmed up more by then. I'm going to be a busy little swordmaster between now and then. Nick's books at Amazon.com. Yes, and we have so many other good things coming. I am still shooting to have 3 publications out by the end of the year, and as in 3 more. So I'm hoping to get some work done on that, but it's done in here. So first we make this place a little more livable, and this little dude puts out a pretty good amount of heat. And then we will put out our plans. Glenn. Yes, Sarah's happier to see Glenn. I just can't sing in her voice. And happy to see Sarah is our own Jody McPhee, which means we got to run his ad just because we can. Oh, sorry, Joe. Not you. It's the cold.
Hi, I am Joe D. McPhee. I am the host of From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher, and I want to cordially invite you to watch our show Saturdays at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. On our show, we will have different guests as well as talk about the comic book industry and pop culture. And every so often, I might actually do a drawing session or a 3D rendering session every here and there. So once again, I want to invite you to watch From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher right here on the broadcast channel that you're looking at, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Hope to see you there. and make certain that you catch From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks.
Yeah, that's Jody McPhee, a wonderfully opinionated creator who does it all himself. It's really interesting to work with people who do a lot of collaboration, like Mike Jimmy Lorsha DeBron, who's doing amazing things with Life on Quora. I'm going to have to take the hit and throw some money at his anthology when it comes out, just because. And Luke Stone, who has all sorts of collaborations. And then also, then you get to work with people like Jody, who are one man stops. They know what they want. They don't. You know who you're working with. It has pros, it has cons. We should discuss that at some point. How do you approach these things? But let's see. Sarah, we got greetings. Glenn's greeting people. Everybody's greeting people. I'm just going to scroll through. And From the Desk of Small Press Publisher on YouTube, that is Frog G throwing the links, and linktree.civbolt. Throw those links and promote Frog G, folks, especially because the project he's involved in got shadow banned, and I find that sickening. And Glenn is flirting with Sarah, and Sarah's happy to see it, and who isn't? Glenn's a sexy beast. Anyway, hey, Frog G, we got more greetings. Good. Not an open flame. What's my fear? No, I'm insane, not stupid. And if I had an open flame, it would be in a very sturdy, stable thing directly in front of me, which would be quite a bit warmer. But that's why I'm going with the wax warmer. I will give you a hint. I have been broadcasting for 20 minutes, and the wax isn't even soft yet, to give you an idea just how cold it is in here. Hey, Glenn. Smiles from Glenn. Hopefully I didn't scare people yesterday, CBS, by tossing a comment. Oh, jeez. I always miss the good ones. I had... What was going on? Yesterday night had some family necessities. So I'll have to catch that in rerun. And so should you on the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. That's nothing compared to ripping one in half. Wow, you've done that. They're froggist. Absolutely. It's the anti-amphibian agenda. It was a shock, Joe, and the face you made. I don't do lacy things. More like leather and... If it helps, I was thinking that the lacy spiderweb patterned curtains, not on you, but yes. And yes, I find lace to be, while pretty, it's rather scratchy. And let's be honest, at the end of the day, one must give lead to the tactile experiences in such things far over the visual aesthetic. We're okay. It's cold and wet, but what's new? We had our 2 days of summer last. Yeah. I'm originally from the Pacific Northwest, where it rains 364 days out of the year and snows on Christmas Eve. Accountability. Completed a few more sketches. That was a bad idea. Featuring content from the Amazonia comic series and a bit of a creator funk with Primetime Saturday Night. Not a page or two ahead for Saturday show. Well, you just need to think about why are you in a funk? Don't look at the funk itself. Look at what's making you not feel like you. Usually I find artistic funks and creative funks come from something else going on in life. Do something positive, let yourself relax, and it should jostle loose pretty quick. Whew. Jeez. Lydia's looking at me all happy because haha, she doesn't feel cold. Anyway, it's so weird. Usually you would think the skinny chicks are the ones who are always wrapped up in blankets and stuff, but leave it to Lydia. Anyhow, your next Comics Unlimited article, Joe, issue 11 on Amazon now. Yes. I was there. Wow. Carl Witzman unlocked a core memory. I was there when GeoCities fell. GeoCities falls no more. And he's making a Doctor Who reference to Gallifrey, but I too was there. nixgifts.geocities.com, a site that's long dead. However, there was a group of very valiant internet types who sought to preserve large swaths of GeoCities in an archive. I have, because I found my one of the original inspirations for how I game, a site called Akane's anime role-playing page, was preserved. So I found out that it made it out. And I am very that made my heart glad. But yes, we lost a lot of good creations and a lot of good creators that way. Back your stuff up, folks. Joe has the coolest music on any podcast. Yes, he does. Life on Korra Volume 1. Fairies and Ents. Life on Korra Volume 1. I can't wait. I am so looking forward to that. Hybrids, The Killing Fields, complete saga. Yes, guys, this is going to be a big one. There's a lot of stuff coming out. Luke has been very, very busy, and he let me in on some stuff. Last night during last morning. That sounds so strange. During Nerd Bacon and after, that did my heart good, because much like today, I was starting to feel a little left out in the cold, and Luke is really working towards some great stuff. So a lot of it's about having faith. Another great creator another book to check out from a very nice creator, Machi the Lazy Witch. I've heard that around. I need to look into that personally because that sounds like it could be fun. Hey, Less of the Beast. Nick, it was wonderful. He threw that comic in. It ended up in Indiana. Oh, no. A while back, the ripped one in half, I would have used it for, they ripped one in half. I would have used it for store credit. If not all places give you that deal. Okay, can't do that too much. Okay, let's see. That's interesting. Donna, you're assuming that Joe was filming while facing north. I assumed he was facing south. I face north while Donna faces east. I face south because west is that way. And the reason I face south is very, very simple. I love to work, but I pathologically cannot have a door behind me that I can't keep an eye on. I'm very uncomfortable with people coming at my back. You have a couple people try to garrote you from behind and the like, and it'll do that to you. Carl, it was the spin he put on it. Oh my. Spin? I'm going to start calling you Fox News. LMAO, guess which cardinal direction I face when I stream? I'm curious now what people think since Carl brought it up. Not north or south? Interesting. I'm sure that Nick has worked out a paranormal reason for his studio setup, like a Western feng shui. It's tactical. That would be my second guess. In the liminal space between the things, paranormal and tactical is the place where I usually live. Now, we've gone about a half hour, which is good, and I'm almost warming up, even though the wax is still unmelted. This thing usually has it done in a minute or two. Let's run an ad, and then we'll get into some deeper conversation, because it's the warmer starting to thaw out my core, at least. Who needs love?
Hi there, my name's Dan Hollifield. I'm the senior editor and publisher of Aphelion website. Aphelion has been online since 1997. Since then, we've brought you the very best amateur science fiction and fantasy writing, and given the world at least 100 brand new professional writers from those who have walked through our doorways. So if you enjoy reading, look for Aphelion. That's www.aphelion-webzine.com. A quick Google of Aphelion-webzine will give you everything you want to know, plus 20 years worth of our backlog of files, our archive of stories stretching back until February of 1997. Think of Aphelion as a permanent floating writer's workshop dedicated to helping new writers become proficient enough to become professional writers and best-selling writers. We have over 100 success stories to our name, and if you're an amateur writer, you may be our next triumph. And if you just like to read stories, we've got plenty of them for you. Just come on by and visit. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Let's go. Let's look at the comments, and then we'll get into some further discussion. Sarah, I had an ex standing like a statue at the foot of the bed, at my bed, when he was an hour away when I went to sleep. He was facing the door, so yeah, it depends on your stalker. Had an ex standing like a statue at the foot of my bed when he was an hour away when I went to sleep. I was facing the door, so yeah. Whew, that's point. Well, you see, most of the time I spend in here, in all honesty, is is with my camera running, so I can see behind me, but I like to see the door naturally, and I check the room. Plus, there are places I worry about metaphysics happening. My home is not really one of them most of the time. And should I ever even think that this house has problems, I have both the means and the associates to deal with said issues. Where are Rich and Joe B this morning? Where's my telefrog this morning? Well, would someone please message them the link, because there's a very real possibility that they didn't get it. There has been a StreamYard Facebook glitch that they warned me about, but I was having some issues. I'm actually facing east, so that those who would have to keep score would say the book landed in Iowa, somewhere near Quad City Comic Con. Sidney Koepp looks up at the sky. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? It's a rubbish comic book. Anyway, revises his mental pictures. Now it's the Jedi cast. Can't be a Jedi. I have a kid. Sleeping in my own bed in my sanctuary. Anyway, about a door's location, I get it though. Oh, absolutely. Yes, I totally get that one. Let's see. Now Lord Nicholas makes sense. My problem is, well, I love the thought of it. It was one of the sweetest things I made. It's done. And I take great joy in knowing that title is there. Because of the way my mind works, accepting the title could cause issues. For the same reason that I have never become ordained as a reverend. I take names and titles deadly serious. Names have power. Words have meaning. Titles are ideas. So finding the right title is vital. But it's also quite nice to be thought of as a little bit more than maybe people think of me. Let's see. The thing that was messed up was the comics was a decent all ages book. However, the marketing of it made me not want to invest since they created another title and number one issue to continue it. Ew. I'm too serious this morning, making myself go to bed. I'll listen though. Sarah, please get some sleep. Feel better. I love your input. I really do. And do take that however you wish. Because it's more fun that way. But the it's much better, much more important that you get sleep and that you feel better. You can always, you ever want to chat, Sarah? We're friends on Facebook. Just hit me up in my DMs. Trust me, I'm more than happy to chat there, and I'm more than happy to chat publicly. I'm not being creepy about it by all means. I'm only secretive about other people's business or stuff that would be dangerous to others. Send a PM to Rich. Thank you. If you could send one to Joe too, just to check on him, I would greatly appreciate it. And then balancing the force. I am allegedly and quite actually rather empathic. How do you think the last few years have been on me when it comes to how I feel about the force? I mean, I live on the literal bad side of the tracks in a tiny little town that has very little to note of it, where the vast majority of time, people leave me the heck alone. And any new arrivals would probably be fairly noted fairly quick by my busybody, otherwise busybody, neighbors. It is almost as though I live in corn Tatooine. That's nice. I'll still be the Lord of Edge though. Oh, absolutely, Johnny. You are the epitome of all things edge lord. I'm going to put you in another book. I have a cyberpunk book in the works too that I think you might show up in. And sent to Joby too. Thank you. Now, since we've had a very awkward morning, and I'm now, this is not okay. First off, I'm still wearing Hawaiian shirt, so I'm still on brand. It's just vaguely suppressed. Really crossing the streams here. Got a question. Got a good question. I had a better one, but it left. So until it comes back, I will mention it to you. Well, you're my blessing. Thank you. I do appreciate that. No. The other thing they bug me about once in a while is my yard and my chickens are illegal. Haha, the wax is starting to break up and form. Anyway. Why do you write? And you have to ask yourself this: what are you writing to do? I mean, some people they're writing, I want to make money writing and I can't do anything else. Okay, that's fine. Some people it's I have a story in my head and it's itching. What's your philosophy? Why do you write? What drives you to it? Now I've said mine a few times, but I will repeat it in variants while I'm here. No, they just don't want people to have chickens. And I'm like, there are problems. They'd probably outlaw gardens too if they could get away with it. Now, mind you, literally half my town is a cornfield in town limits, but it is what it is. So I have no outdoor flaw. I looked at the law. The law said you may have no chickens outside on your property. So I have no chickens outside on my property. My garage is a different place. Allegedly. Anyway. But yes, I write because one, I want to change the world. And that, boy, is that an arrogant thing to say. Well, the problem is the little town folk across the tracks forget that they're in the middle of the country. They get a little full of themselves. Uh, but yeah, I write to change the world. I write to try to provide positivity. I write to educate, and I write because there are only two true philosophies in life uh, that really apply to much of my logic. And the two philosophies people can have is either I suffered, so everyone should suffer, and I wouldn't want anyone to feel what I did. And these two diametrically opposed positions, because everybody suffers at one point or another, uh, shape huge amounts of what I do and why I do it. Needless suffering, needless pain, needless loss of hope and light and joy. Some people see it as a rite of passage or a fair, I went in debt because of this, you should, you know. And I would rather spare people any harm that could be spared to them. And at the same time, tell a story that entertains, or maybe draw a picture that makes people wonder, promote thought and metacognition, because I believe an examined life is the only way to live. You have to look and understand why you do things, because that you can't fix what's wrong in your life if you're not content by not understanding what's going on. Let's see. Johnny Cage says a mix of exploration and escapism. Totally valid. Escapism lets us get away from the prison of the mundane mind, and it is, if the mundane mind and mundane life is a prison, it is the first obligation of every prisoner to escape. Tolkien had a lot to say on that, of all people. People forget just how hardcore Tolkien was. Whew. I know why they outlawed chickens. If you're a chicken attack, better watch your back, for it fades to black. No, it's gonna kick your non-chicken. Anyway, I know what link that is without following it. God bless you, Frog G, for being a man of culture. I want to change the world. The words that start the origin of some supervillains when they become misunderstood or power hungry. The most overused trope in creating an antagonist. And simply by having a desire to change things, I have had an antagonistic relationship with some people and organizations, and they have in such vilified me. However, my reasoning being truly insane things like everyone should be able to game, or martial arts are for everyone, or let's not, make fun of somebody because they are of a different skin color, because race still annoys me as a term, or don't make fun of people for things they can't change. Make fun of people for things they can change and refuse to. Carl says, I suppose that I write because someone I respect said I was good at it. And if you're good at something, you enjoy doing it. Even if it's a story that only I will read, it's worth it. Also, that I've also written Emphera for gifts, a poem that only they have. I didn't even keep a copy. That is both beautiful and that is where I find magic in the universe. Things like that. This is yours and yours alone. We live in, when I talk about magic and how it affects me, by my understanding, I'm rarely talking about the twisting of curses or the casting of spells. Although, of course, I'm educated in such things, I just have very little use for them. Uh, I speak of the small magics of bringing smiles to someone who's had a bad day, or making an injury hurt less by distracting, or mitigating the pain of grief. Uh, Magic for me is when the right song comes on the radio that matches your mood perfectly, or a synchronicity brings you just where you need to be to find what you need. That's the magics in the universe that I respect the most. Little tiny flickers of improbability. The big stuff, I'm not a big person. I will probably never be terribly significant. But I do know people who are. And if I can help people become more significant in a way that's lighted, that is wonderful. And Joe Deacon answers, to answer your question, to have the story or stories go away in my mind. When you have an idea, recurring concepts, you have to see them to completion. That's why I write or create. Rich says, sorry, I'm late. Doctor appointment. Oh, that's fine, Rich. I just wanted to make sure that you weren't tangled up in the extremes of the StreamYard is having problems. And we don't want that. I'm sorry, my energy is really off today, and I do apologize if I don't seem my boisterous self. I have both a lot of cold, which causes all sorts of nerve things, and I have a lot on my mind. It's the back of my mind has been stirred up, and I'm waiting for it to settle to see what the little gray cells think about it. Rich! Oh, I forgot about the doctor appointment. Hey, Rich. Everybody's glad to see Rich. Donald, I write because the voices force me to put their story down. That makes sense, too. Many people, especially audible thinkers, have full conversations with their characters trying to sort them out. An interesting point of fiction that people ask is, where does it come from? And sometimes stories come from a conglomeration of your experiences. That sorry, cold makes me yawn. That you process subconsciously. Sometimes it just feels like it plugs in from the ether. I don't know where this story's coming from. I just have to write it. Oh, yes. Carl asks, Rich, what do you, oh, God. Y'all are going to throw a tongue twister at me. Rich, which way do you face when you are on camera? Cardinal directions. We're comparing today. For example, I face south, and I believe from a desk of a small press publisher faces east, I think they said. So it's just one of those that what a wonderful. I really wish YouTube would give me the community tab, because that's the kind of thing. Yeah, he faces east. He faces. Yeah. If I faced west, the sun would blast me anyway. My house faces west, but so where do you face what you anyhow? Yes. It's interesting, especially for those of us who write horror or scary or substance. Where do you draw? Do you draw from the shadows of your experience, or do you draw from your again, just things you're scared of and you don't know why? East, due to the layout of the room, and Richie also faces east. Fascinating faces. That is an odd thing that I find interesting. Now, while we're discussing that, because I know we're all over the place. Today has been a very odd. Normally, I have a high energy Friday energy, and the cold just sort of got to me a little bit there. But let's see. East to the layout of the room. Another shocker. I pictured north. Weird how we draw those pictures of others, and it's like two people reading a novel and picturing the hero differently. Well, we are. Many people, especially when you talk about what's going on, they put you as the main character in the story that you are telling, and many times, objectively, I dare say most of the time, people aren't the main character in their lives. Or at least many people aren't. I think there are a lot of Jack Burtons out there. Jack Burton, Kurt Russell's character from Big Trouble in Little China. If you haven't seen it, go watch it right now. It's my favorite movie. Was the sidekick, and no one seems to catch it. Okay. Sorry about that. Let's see. Boop, boop, boop. Johnny Cage says tongue twisters are evil. That being said, can you imagine an imaginary menagerie manager managing an imaginary menagerie? Nice try. You managed to hit one of the ones that isn't a big trip up for me. I have a very precise speech impediment, and I will let you know part of where it is, at the risk of ending up with a Jadoon platoon on the moon situation. When I was little, very, very little, I would say a neighbor convinced me to parrot as a very, very, very small child, like 2 or 3, something like that. I'm a little, and my mom said, no, you're a little chip. So what happened is my SHs and CHs like to jump. I also I am classically trained in Latin. It's been a long time, and I am rusty to the point of agony. I basically have to start all over again. But I will, on occasion, pronounce J's that I read as Y's. And it's worse when the name traditionally would be pronounced that way. I have a student named Jorgen. It would be pronounced Jorgen. And I went years calling him Jorgen because that is the proper pronunciation of that name by the situation. Turns out his parents named him that, but he wasn't. He didn't correct me, and I feel awful that I went years saying Jorgen. However, every once in a while, my J's will turn into the Y sound inappropriately. So let's see. Donna Carlene is plugging herself. Find my latest book, Waiting on a Star, here. Lulu.com shop Donna Carlene, Waiting on a Star, paperback product, and then a whole bunch of numbers. Go to that, buy her stuff. She's a heck of a writer. I have her books. We have to go through that pile. Thank you for reminding me. I draw from fears that I have deep inside and the indignation I feel watching the world around me. Yes, I can completely see that about you, Richie. That one makes a staggering amount of sense. Let's see. Joe says, been a busy morning. Been busy getting snow cleaned up from the sidewalks in preparation of Mom coming home today. Well, that's wonderful, I hope. Sorry you have to clean snow. I think with all the time you spent behind a plow, you shouldn't have to ever touch the white stuff again. But it is what it is. You have to pick show explicit content and give your birth date. Oh, my. Got a few other things to get it done, though. So I'll see you later tonight. Wonderful, Joe. You go have a wonderful time. I'm sure I've missed you, but that's all right. There is Joby. Yes, tonight will be pretty well amazing because I get to find out what you all think of me. It's a little staggering. Well, I face north when I kick my feet up on the desk and I'm looking more to the left. So you're facing north, so you look more to the east. I had to go. Johnny K said, I had to go for the weeb cat girl tongue twister, and I'll take this failure with pride. I have very little problem with weeb cat girls. They make the world a beautiful place. There's a fact in life that certain types of beauty live between like the knee and the hip, that little area where it goes ding. Anyway, there's another part of the Joe conundrum. Morning, Joby. Joby. Everybody's happy to see you as you're heading out, probably. Well, time to be responsible employees. So see folks later in the green room. Yeah, I see how you are. Eyes on you, Richie. Wait, are they roasting you tonight, Nick? Yeppers. Okay, the Yeppers is to Rich. Sorry, I saw Rick and I had flashback. Both my dad and brother go by Rick. Well, okay, they're not roasting me. What we got was on the topic of main characters and people who have character classes, not like fighter, rogue, thief, mage classes, but like the characters you identify with and the characters people. It's better than calling them Orville. Anyway, the characters that people identify you with. And while I'm having a very poofy hair day, it was discussed, when I was in high school, my friends would all sit around talking about who they reminded everybody of. And Buffy was very popular, and naturally I was branded Giles. And that is a name that was kind of semi-assigned to me for a certain point in time, for a very good reason. In college, a couple people dubbed me different things, Gimli being one of the nicer ones. Because of an incident with someone who truly hated me, I had a very unexpected moniker for for anyone who knows me and knows my proclivities, but that's not a story for right now. And it's not one I would ever wish to have. And the discussion went around because a buddy of mine came running up once. Well, I early knew him. That's how I found out about Firefly. He comes running up. He's 6 foot tall, covered in spikes. He was an extremely gothy goth and about 500 pounds, 400 pounds at the time. Runs up, slams both hands on the table and goes, "They think you're washed, but you're not. They think you're washed, but you're not. Your book. I figured out. Your book." I had not seen Firefly. Firefly aired at a time I normally worked. Mike, I did the okay. Whatever you say, big guy. I'm not going to argue with you. Would you like to sit down? Perhaps have a beverage, get your blood sugar up, maybe away from caffeination. It's like, you ever seen Firefly? Here, this is my spare giveaway copy. Keep it. And that's how I found out about Firefly. Oddly enough, I do have a wash figure I found. I don't have a book. Anyway, what it was we realized the proclivity of characters that I identify with kind of peaked with Warehouse 13's Artie. And all the characters I really tend to identify with get impaled. So with that discussion, there was the whole, what do you guys identify me with in this whole character class? Maybe what do you identify yourselves? And they found it more fun to identify me. So, no problem. I usually reply to most itch, ick, and is names. Understood with that. I turn anytime I hear a long I sound. Yeah. Whenever anyone uses the word proclivities, I want to say, "Oh my," in my best George Takei voice. That makes sense. Kind of like how this one guy in high school associated me with Dick Van Dyke to a degree due to mannerisms. Very odd, but I think I get it. I try not to ask because I usually get a spectrum of people, like Wilson from Home Improvement. Sigh. Okay. It's interesting you mentioned Dick Van Dyke because Bert from Mary Poppins was one of my great aspirations in life. And to my credit, I have been a chimney sweep and I have done sail arc and I've even played instruments for busking. So I'm well on that path. I don't see either with Joe. Odd dude. But most of us hopefully have grown quite a bit since high school. And this has been a very odd program today. And I'm sorry that we seem to have missed out on a few people. I think it may be due to the Facebook glitch. We will work on it, and hopefully there will be more people for the Historical Fencing Guild live stream tonight at 8 p.m. And of course, it's just now starting to warm up. Like the middle of my wax warmer has melted. But as you know, I need to run a commercial. I haven't run enough commercials, well, plugs, because people aren't paying me yet for commercials. And I'm going to run Cindy Koepp because I haven't run her stuff. So I'm going to run. Actually, that's her old one. I'll run her old one.
Author Cindy Koepp is writing on the edge. Books include Remnant in the Stars, The Loudest Actions, Lines of Succession, Mindstorm, Condemned Courier, the Yerushalayim series, and Animal Eye. Find author Cindy Koepp at CKOEPP.com today.
Yeah, folks, I want to support Cindy Koepp because she's awesome people. And let's see. I imagine the reason we're not getting her today is because of the Facebook glitch with StreamYard. They said they are working on it. I can't really do anything about it. It does annoy me as this is a paid-for service. But we all have technical problems, and I certainly am not one to grumble at people. Today went odd, but I think it was a good show. I do think I'm going to call it here because, one, I don't want to get in trouble with Daphne and Nita out of courtesy. Oh, thank you, Frog. Frog's throwing Cindy Koepp's website up there. And her books on Amazon.com. So unless somebody else has something pressing, which I will give you a moment to do while we check, I think I'll just call it. And because I will be seeing you guys later today for the Historical Fencing Guild live stream, and I will be back Monday morning for another, probably much more energetic, hopefully warmer episode of Nevermind the Furthermore. All my ramblings aside, and today was very rambly, I do hope you guys are creating. We have so much to give to the world, and frankly, the world needs it. So let's go out there today and just try to do some good, create some, make the world a better place. And I'll see you, Johnny. And yeah, anytime you guys want to reach out to me, you know how to get a hold of me. Good show, understanding the circumstances. Have a great day, everyone. Stay warm. I will, Carl. I will absolutely stay warm. You have a wonderful day. I will talk to you very soon. And I will try, depending on how the night goes and how my family situations are doing, because I do enjoy hanging out with my kid. I may swing by the green room tonight. Have a happy weekend, everybody. And I'll see you Monday for another episode of Nevermind the Furthermore. My voice